Hey, welcome to the Northeast Hunt and Film podcast. I'm your host, Jason Alex. Here you'll find hunting stories and strategies based mainly out of the Northeast, but will also include hunts from all around the country. If you can hunt it and you can film it, chances are we're going to talk about it on here. Enjoy. All right, everybody, welcome back. Another episode of Northeast Hunt and Film. And I'm sitting here on a cloudy Sunday. Starting to feel like October out there, finally. Scrapes are getting opened up. Rubs are popping up all over. Been doing quite a bit of scouting. Not too much time in the tree. In years past, I've kind of went hard at the beginning of the season, hunted every day after work, and just by the time the end of October comes around, I'm a little burned out on the whole bow thing because of all the gear you got to carry. So trying to do the opposite this year, save my mojo for the end of October when it gets good. Kind of a quality over quantity thing. This week I'm joined with Jake Lyon. He has a Instagram page called New England Whitetail that you guys should check out. The kid's a hell of a photographer, and he gets some really good trail cam pics and videos. And so I reached out to him, kind of wanted to talk more photography and stuff like that, but we touched on it briefly and then dove right into deer hunting because we're both a couple of whitetail junkies. And so we go over strategies on hunting pressured whitetails, possible antler restriction in Vermont, which I know is going to stir the pot, but yeah, I think it would benefit the deer herd, especially. It would make for a better rut for sure. Saddle hunting, talk about some saddle hunting, and then we get to tracking and some misses and some muzzleloader malfunctions and all kinds of stuff. I did want to make a little bit of an announcement. With youth seasons in Vermont and New Hampshire coming up, I kind of want to do like if anybody out there, has a kid that hunts or you take somebody out and, get a kid their first deer, I think it'd be cool to have them hop on the podcast and talk about it. Obviously it wouldn't be a real long deal, maybe 15 minutes or whatever, but maybe if I could get 2 or 3 people and just do a kind of a mashup episode, I think it'd be kind of cool. So I'll make a post about it on social media, and you guys can just message me and maybe work something out. But yeah, I think it'd be cool to do. I think the kid would be stoked on it, and yeah, let me know. And I gotta go put a cell camera out, and we're gonna jump into this podcast with Jake Lyon. Make sure you guys go follow him on New England Whitetail on Instagram. Kid takes some awesome photos, and yeah, it's a cool page. See ya. All right, we're back. Another episode of the Northeast Hunt and Film podcast. Sitting here in the makeshift kitchen studio. Joined this evening by Jake Lyon. What's going on, bud?
Oh, not too much.
It's funny, me and Jake just met a couple hours ago.
Even though we live 15 minutes,
15 minutes
away.
15 minutes apart.
Not even.
Yeah, 10 minutes apart, and work
like
300
on
yards
the same
apart.
road. On the same road.
But I found him. I found him on Instagram. His Instagram, New England Whitetail. You guys got to follow it. He takes some really good photos and got a bunch of trail camera pictures of some good deer. And I found it. I was showing my girlfriend, who's a photographer, and she's like, "These are really good photos." Like, so I sent him a message, like, "Dude, like, I just started a podcast. You want to come on, talk some hunting, some photo stuff?" He's like, "Yeah." So here we are.
And the whole reason you want to know the reason I made that Instagram?
Yeah.
Because I was always checking my trail cameras. I had so much storage and I didn't have a laptop. It was all on my phone. So I'm like, oh, I need something to do with these
That's a good idea.
to store it. So I'm like, I'm just gonna make an Instagram account and just start posting them.
Yeah, use their storage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
So that way they're always still there.
Yep,
Yep.
that's a good idea.
Although, I got people seeing all
Yeah.
the deer I got, but
Whatever.
the slim people know where I'm hunting, so
Yeah.
it's all right.
Yeah, I imagine it's not 100% of the deer you're getting.
No.
I could only imagine if you're willing to reveal some of them, there must be some good in somewhere. That's always a fine line you walk, though, right? Like trying to,
Yep.
like me filming hunts. Like
Oh yeah, that's
you know,
probably,
I
even
don't
worse.
start recording until I'm 100 yards in the woods.
Yep.
Like there's no chance. Like I'm not that I'm some big buck killer and people should be following me around anyways, but
No.
like it's still, yeah. You try
Don't
to
need
keep
people
it,
intruding your spot when they wouldn't have to begin with.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, Nick Campagna from Big Woods Bucks.
Yep.
I edited up a couple of his, like he goes out with his dog and films his shed hunts,
Yep.
and he's like, dude, he's like any horizon, anything like on a logging road, he's like you can't include any of it. He's like it's so cutthroat up there. Like if you make a glimpse of a horizon, like they're gonna know right where I'm at. I was like, all right, bro, like
Unreal.
I gotcha. So I edited it up and he approved it, so we put it on the YouTube channel. But
Yep.
yeah, that kid finds a lot of sheds. Him and his dog Ruger. His dog's good. He's getting
Yeah.
older, but
It's just I never have time for that. That's right. Like the best time. What does he do it like March?
no, I think he's going like
April?
yeah, when the probably beginning of March.
Yeah, see that's the
When the
problem.
snow's starting to go out up there. I mean,
Yeah.
he's some of it's in way northern Maine.
See,
He
I'm
does
doing
a little bit in
syrup.
southern Vermont.
I'm doing syrup that time of year,
yeah.
so I just don't
So
have.
you don't sleep. You don't
Yeah.
do anything.
I don't have the time there.
People who work full time and sugar don't sleep.
I mean, I found a handful. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's tough. A lot
Yeah.
of walking, especially around here.
Yeah,
Oh my
the
goodness.
moose sheds are easier because they stink.
And
Like
they're
they
huge.
smell bad.
And-
Well, for the dog to find.
Yeah.
They smell really bad. Like after the snow melts off from them.
Huh.
He came down this way. It wasn't quite this far south, but like kind of like southern central New Hampshire, not quite south, but with his dog and found one.
Around here.
Yeah, just not too far north of here, like
Yep.
like an hour north of Keene.
Yep.
And dude, we had to like keep that thing outside. It smelled like a bag of trash. They stink. And he's like, that's what you do is you just kind of like you use the wind and you walk the dog, and the dog gets downwind of an antler and smells it, and then
Huh.
but like the whitetail ones don't really smell.
No.
So not that he can't find them, but there's just way easier to find moose for
Yeah.
whatever reason. They just stink
Huh.
bad. We had to like dry that thing out. We got it in there now, but like, dude, that was bad. But so, what like we talked about a little bit off here, but like, what got you started into like taking photos and like you were just like one day like, yep, I'm gonna do this. I see all these deer and
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
was it like a certain person that influenced you, or like just wanted to do it?
Well, when I made that page, I started seeing all these other pages,
Right.
And the big one was Dom. What is it? IWC. Dom.IWC, I think
Yep.
it is. So he was probably the biggest influence. I messaged him a couple times to kind of pick his brain about taking pictures. So he was probably the biggest one. And then another one was B Schultz Photography, I think it is. So yeah, they're both Midwest, but they take incredible pictures. But another thing was, I'm always in the woods. I'm always seeing all this stuff. I want to capture it,
Right.
look at it later on. So photography wise, those are probably the main main things that got me going.
Yeah, it's definitely fun to, like, when you get a good photo and, like,
Oh yeah.
it's a satisfying feeling.
Yeah, it's almost as satisfying as friggin' hunting.
Almost.
And shooting one, almost.
Well, maybe the shooting part. The hunting part kind of sucks.
It's kind of the same though.
Hunting's boring.
You're pretty much hunting.
Scouting's fun.
You're pretty much hunting for a picture though.
Yeah.
You just shoot. You're just clicking a different trigger.
Yep. Yeah, if you can walk around, kind of like still hunt with a camera.
That's mostly what I do.
Yep.
Because I'm not good at sitting.
Yeah.
Not good at sitting at all.
I'm gonna try this year, and because last year was pathetic. I blew more. I just couldn't. I don't know. I was just stumbling around the woods. Like, I was still hunting, but at a way too fast of a clip, and like, I had these spots that were good. Cameras told me they were good. I just need to get over that like mental hurdle of the just give it time.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you got to do. I got a battery pack. I can recharge my phone. Like, if I got to sit there and watch like YouTube videos on silent, something to keep me there.
Yep.
Especially like if it's a cold, crispy day where the leaves are loud, like, you can get away with that stuff. You're gonna hear them coming.
Yep.
If it's a windy day and you got to be on your toes, or you're hunting over a brook or something where there's like background noise, like, yeah, you can't be on your phone.
Nope.
But so I'm gonna try to be a little more patient with it this year when it's the right time.
Yeah.
Like right now, we're recording this. Next week is October. It's late September. Like right now, I've only been out 3 days this year.
Yeah, I've been out like 4 or 5.
It's been hot, and like I got other stuff I want to get done to, like, so I'm not doing it when it's late October.
Prime time.
You know, scrape week. I want to be
Yeah.
in the woods. So, got my truck inspected today, and you know, and then I was showing Jake when we got here, like, I got all this like new camera gear. Like, I don't even know how to like pack it up. I thought it all fit in my pack. I got the Mystery Ranch 38.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, it's
I was looking at a Mystery Ranch.
Yeah, it's a frame pack.
Yeah.
And it won't all fit in there.
Oh God.
So I got to wear like a fanny pack in the front. And I hope you guys appreciate some of these videos I put out, because it's a lot of work. But whatever.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so, but then
It's
you
so
actually
much.
go to do it.
It's
and
so much work. It's so much. I'm carrying an extra 10 pounds of gear.
Oh yeah. And then just to get up the tree, you know,
It's another
Tie
thing
on-
to set up.
tie a tree arm iron on,
Yeah.
get your camera set up. Oh God.
Yeah, my buddy Neil.
I haven't even done it yet this year. I've gone out. I've did like 2 sits in a tree and like 2 kind of like walked around sitting on the ground.
Yeah, scouting around.
Yeah.
I still have not, and I'm a little embarrassed to say this because this is the first time it's ever happened. I have still not seen this year a rub or a scrape opened up.
I haven't seen a scrape, not in New Hampshire. I haven't seen a scrape. I've seen a handful of smoking hot rubs.
I haven't seen a damn one.
No?
And
I think I posted 1 or 2 on that Instagram.
yeah. Historically, these spots like have produced,
Yeah.
but for whatever reason this year I'm struggling bad. But we'll get it figured out. I had a
Yeah.
couple cell cams out, and I just got another one for my birthday. Shout out to Amy's dad, John. But got to get that up and running, and I got a good spot for that one.
Yep.
Massachusetts.
Yeah. I don't know why, but all my cell cams are in Vermont. The woods that I already know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, as long as, I mean,
I got a good one soaking in Massachusetts that I'm so anxious to check.
so obviously you run cameras pretty heavy.
Oh yeah.
You one of those guys who got like 60 of them?
Probably 30.
30, really? Yeah. I'm up to like
Some of them I just
14.
yeah. Half of them I just don't check at all.
Just leave them to soak.
Just leave them to soak. Some of them I even forget where they are. Like I get on Onyx and I'll
Yeah.
put all these pinpoints, but then I got so many pinpoints that
Yeah. Yeah, you got to use that color grading stuff.
Yeah,
These cameras are active because they're blue, and
yep, I'm not. I told you I gotta get better at that organization thing.
Yep, I hear you. But has one ever worked out where like a camera actually helped you kill a deer?
So,
More or less.
I mean, last year in Vermont, I was physically checking my camera, and a buck went by chasing a doe, and I shot him. So does that count?
Yep. That camera did help you kill that buck because you wouldn't have been standing there if.
Probably not.
But yeah, for me, I don't know. I feel like it's not. They're patternable to a certain extent.
I've been hearing so many time
Like
after
unless
time
you have
after,
like November off.
Yeah, I do
Like
not.
you might get like if you're stuck to weekends.
Yep.
So you do your 2 days in a big wood spot. You do your Saturday, Sunday, and you sit all day.
And then
Well,
after
Monday he comes through, and you're where it's
Yep.
yeah, it's tough.
But I've heard time and time and time after again on these podcasts of bucks on exact days a year later going by in daylight, and it's hasn't happened to me yet. But
Yeah. That spot's probably out there, but
probably because they don't live long enough around here.
yeah, the southern Vermont ones get shot. That's just the way it is. And there's nothing wrong with it, but there's a lot of hunting pressure and not a lot. I mean, unless you go out to like the national forest,
Yep.
you know, you go over to like Searsburg and stuff, but like those are going to be those all day sits where you see nothing.
Yep.
You could devote a week to a signpost rub, and on the last day, the buck finally comes in, he gets downwindy and winds you and blows and runs off, and you just want to hang yourself out of the tree.
Yep.
Mainly climber.
Yeah, I got
Or you
sticks.
got sticks and a hang on.
Sticks and a hang on.
Yep.
I got the big 3-step hawk heliums, and I just got a Novix Helo, which is pretty much a Novix bought out lone wolf.
Yeah, isn't that Lone Wolf? Yeah.
So it's a lone wolf.
Chevy GMC.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I got one hang on. It's one of those heavy steel ones.
Yep.
And it's one of those I set it.
Yep.
I do like them, but I'm going to try the saddle thing a lot more this year. I started with it last year, and I started way late.
Yeah.
And quickly switched back to my climber because you got to do what's familiar. But
Did you get it tethered?
yeah,
I was gonna get a.
I bought the tethered the Mantis.
Yep.
They're like cheaper one because I was gonna save $50.
I was gonna get the trophy line because it was
Yeah.
the cheapest one out there just to try it out.
And then that was the most uncomfortable thing I've ever worn. If you're gonna get a tethered, get the Phantom. Don't get the Mantis
Yeah.
because the Mantis isn't adjustable at all. But I sold that one on eBay, and I bought a Cruiser.
Yep.
And
I
the
heard those-
Cruiser actually like
Wraps around. and-
well it you can pull it down. It goes almost to the back of your knees. So
Yep.
if you accompany that with the back brace, it's
Yep.
like sitting in a recliner. As long as you get knee pads. But I still got the tethered, like the side pouches and the tethered platform.
Yep.
I kept all that, but I just sold the saddle because I could not get comfortable in it. I mean, I was struggling with like an evening sit after work, like 2 hours. Like I was already uncomfortable. Like, how the hell is this going to work in like,
Yeah.
you know, the rut?
When you're trying to sit all day.
Yeah. So I got rid of that. Got the Cruiser, and that thing's comfortable, man.
I haven't heard a complaint about those.
Yeah.
Everybody says Cruiser, the one to get.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, and then I usually by the time New Hampshire muzzleloader opens up, I'm ready to get down.
Boots on the ground.
Yeah. This year I'm gonna, if the conditions are right, for sure. But those days, you know, there were days last year where I had no business. I know it works, still hunting on those days, but
Yep.
if you can just hold out a little while, maybe like have a morning spot and then an afternoon spot, so like you know there's an end.
Yep.
Those all day sits, I've done them, and it's a grind. But if you got a morning spot and like 3/4 of a mile away you got an evening spot, and you can for 2 hours you still hunt your way
Yep.
to your evening spot, it breaks it up a little bit. You're still in the game, but
Never out of the game in the rut.
Yeah.
Anything, anything could
You
happen.
could be checking your camera and a buck comes by. What was that one?
That was a 7-point.
Oh, yeah?
Basket rack, 7-point for Vermont, but
Yeah. Can't hate that.
can't hate that.
Yeah.
Past, what is it, 2-3 years, 7 points, basket rack. That's what I've been getting in Vermont. I feel like I got a trend going on.
Have you you killed one in New Hampshire yet?
Shot at some in New Hampshire. I've only been hunting New Hampshire. This will be my 3rd year.
Yep.
Each year before that, I shot at a nice one.
Yep. That's the trend over here. There's way more bucks.
Way better bucks too.
Yeah. The buck to doe ratio over the river is like, I don't know what happened.
10 does to $2.
10 does to a spike horn.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
I don't.
I mean, I don't usually see spikes.
Yeah, I don't either actually. I've killed 2 spikes in New Hampshire, but I never see them in Vermont.
Yeah,
I think that spike horn law did help restricting spikes for that was quite a few years. That was
I think if they went to the old Pennsylvania 3 points on a side, that'd really
I've said that and
really spike the.
I've said that and I've stirred the pot with some people, but here's what you do.
That's what I'm
you
trying
give
to.
you give people a doe tag
They got like 5.
because then you're helping the buck to doe ratio.
Yep.
You're saving bucks and you're taking out does.
Yep.
Just one tag. So you buy your rifle license and you get your buck tag and you get a doe tag.
Yep.
And the buck tag has the antler restriction, but you get a doe tag. So all those guys that are out that would shoot a spike or a 3-pointer or whatever, there's nothing wrong with that.
This should be in regular rifle season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your meat deer, because a lot of, especially the older folks, they don't bow hunt and
Yep.
they just want a deer for meat. So you give them a doe tag, and I don't understand the problem. I don't. Like, every year they're changing their seasons, they're changing their laws. It's like, dude, look at what New Hampshire's doing.
Yeah.
They haven't changed their seasons, and I don't know. Like Timmy said, it's been most of his life. It's been that way.
Yep.
Muzzleloaders before rifle, which is how it should be.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I don't know what's wrong with Vermont.
They're trying to figure it out, and I guess I respect that they're trying, but
We should just copy New Hampshire's laws.
yeah, but they their gun season's the first 2 days of muzzleloader and the first 3 days of rifle, whatever it is. It's any deer.
Yep.
There you go. But you can only get one deer with a gun.
Yep.
Now Vermont has that buck to doe ratio so screwed. It might be better to put an antler restriction on, like a 3 to a side, just for a few years. Like,
Yep. I'm trying to just.
if everybody would just agree, like, our rut would be better, we'd have a better age class deer. If you just suck it up for a few years, shoot your doe, get your meat,
Yep.
and then you can hunt for a 3 to a side.
Yep. And then if you take out some of them doe, you're gonna have less doe, so the bucks are gonna be searching even more. So
Better rut.
even better of a rut.
If everybody could just get on the same page. But I understand there's both sides of it, and I understand both sides. You only get you work full time and you're a new dad, and you only get so many days in the woods, and you're trying to get a deer, and
Yep.
money's tight, and I get it, but things could be so much better.
So much better.
So when this comes out, it'll be like second week of October. So how are you combating the October lull that they talk about in Iowa?
The old famous October lull. Right now, and I'm going to Vermont because that's what I got a lot of my cameras at.
Yeah.
I put a couple on a good group of white oaks that are dropping fresh that I haven't checked yet, but I got some high hopes for those. One of them's right. It's a big swamp, and you got to trudge through it to get to an island that's dropping some white oaks. And then if you keep trudging through that, there's a real small island that I think a buck is bedded on that I was chasing last year in there. So
You want John Eberhard on him.
no, full on Dan Infall.
Dan Infall, yeah. Kind of the same deal, but yeah.
Same deal, just like small.
Right.
Because he's out in, Wisconsin,
Yeah.
doing all that. A lot of pressure. Where I'm hunting, bow season, like, nobody hunts bow season over there, really.
That's what I love about bow hunting around here is there's
Yeah.
not much pressure.
No.
There's some. It's
Yeah,
a lot more work to get away from people, but like those spots like you were just talking about are like if you can find those.
Where nobody wants to go.
Yep.
Yep.
Like
But even-
Infalt said, if you do what 99% of the people do, you're going to get the same results as 99% of the people.
Yep.
Which is, the occasional Green River 4-pointer.
But even the spot in New Hampshire I'm hunting, nobody in bow season. You get in there opening day a muzzleloader, it'll sound like Vietnam.
Yep.
So that's kind of why I'm focusing over there on bow. Otherwise, once gun season, I might go there the opening day, and then after that, I don't know. I'm probably gonna hit the big woods.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's cool because, like, I was thinking about this. New Hampshire's archery season runs through. There's no blackout dates.
Yep.
No, it's not closed on youth day or whatever. If you can find spots, like little tiny spots, that you couldn't gun hunt,
Yep.
say it's between two roads or whatever it is,
Yep.
like, if the whole surrounding area is getting
Yeah,
pounded,
yep.
where are those the deer gonna go?
The small places people with guns.
So you
ain't
go in
gonna
there with your bow
Yep.
and just kind of like right around 10 o'clock in the morning when people go to breakfast,
Yep.
it might, I don't know.
Probably.
I got a spot like that this year. I'm going to try that.
Yep.
Even though it's gun season, I'm going to grab my bow and I'm going to climb up in the saddle and just
Yeah.
see what happens.
Might as well. That's another thing Infalt says. Like, he'll talk about people going way back, deep into the woods, when these bucks are like right off the parking lot looking at you walking in.
Yeah.
So.
I like that story, the 400-pound slob.
Yeah.
He's like, I just parked in my station wagon, pretend I was reading newspaper.
Watching him hit a scrape.
Yeah.
Insane.
Tip the scale. Scale didn't go over 300 pounds. Just tipped the scale. And he said it was almost Boone and Crockett
Yeah.
or something, like opening day. Like that guy is like, what's that stuff? Sent Away or Dead Downwind.
Yep.
He's like those guys' worst nightmare.
Yep.
Because he's just some grungy old like. He looks like a guy that shows up in a tow truck. But he's just a savage.
Savage. Out there in blue jeans and a t-shirt.
With
swacking booners.
Yeah. Granted, Wisconsin has a super high deer population. I'm not taking anything away from him.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd go in the Green Mountain National Forest if you gave him a season
Yeah.
to figure it out. He'd come back the next season and probably kill the biggest deer in there, but
I'd give him a week. Not kidding.
like a half hour.
Watch him on the hunting public, them public land challenges.
Yeah.
They get it done.
But it's cool. I there needs to be more video content from the Northeast,
Yeah.
like representation, because there's some big deer that get killed up here,
Yep.
and like we were talking about earlier, like Massachusetts, that's like there's probably more Boone and Crockett deer walking around Massachusetts than I think anybody cares to even like try to figure out.
Yep.
Those like suburban deer, they just grow old eating some old lady's like shrubs in her backyard.
Shrubs and apples.
And the problem is, how do you hunt them? How do you get in there?
Yep.
Nana's not going to give you permission, and everything around
She's
it.
been watching that thing for 4.5
Yeah,
years.
I've been growing this deer. I buy Big and J. So how do you hunt them?
Yep.
But props to Massachusetts though, because they get a lot of public land.
Yep.
Like Mass Wildlife has busted their ass to get us like. You look at Onyx and there's a lot of blue. There's a lot of blue around like huge tracts of land.
Yep.
State forest and yeah, it's cool that like even with them like on the brink of running out of money,
Yep.
they're still out there busting their ass trying to like look out for people.
Yeah, nothing I hunt in Vermont at least is anything spectacular. It's what I grew up hunting, so
Right.
I'm gonna stick to it because it's home.
Yeah.
It's more of a sentimental thing than
Yep.
trying to chase big deer.
Yeah, I got two bucks on the wall from the same piece of woods, and yeah, when I drive by, I look up and like, yeah, I
Yep.
know what you're saying.
Yep.
My first deer, you never forget your first deer.
Yep.
Mine was 142 pound 4-pointer.
Yep. Mine was a 168-pound 6-pointer.
That's a good one.
That's a good one for
Yeah.
Vermont.
How old were you?
10 or 12. I forget.
Yeah, so
So it was 12. It was 2010.
but you're just a pup anyway.
Yeah,
You're only
I'm still a pup.
23.
Just turned 23 last month.
So we've been hunting about the same amount of time. Just I was a decade later.
Yeah.
So your age right now is about when I started.
Yep.
I started when I was 22, and I don't know why I didn't hunt before. I had no problem. All my uncles hunted. I guess I thought it was like my life was built off instant gratification. Dirt bikes, snowboarding, skateboarding, like it's all like, and I'm like, so you go out in the woods and just sit.
See, I grew up the
I'm
same
like,
way, but
I don't know about that.
I grew up the same way, racing and football and baseball. I don't know. Something about hunting just
Yeah.
hit me.
See, I had it in me.
Like even I remember before I could even hunt, my dad and my brother would go out, and when they come back, pulling in the driveway, I'd be running to the window seeing if they got anything.
Yep.
So
So, earlier you were talking about the white oak there in the swamp.
yep.
Is that kind of your strategy? Is to try to be between food and bedding, or first part of October is kind of there's not a lot of daylight movement going on, and
Yep.
you're kind of watching cameras over scrapes, whatever. But I think that's kind of the norm, is try to
Yeah.
be as tight as you dare to be to bedding.
Yep. Yeah, that's the main goal. I know. See, I'm going back to Vermont because that's what I have the most
Yep.
time in. So I know where there's a couple beds in some real thick like mountain laurel and stuff.
Yeah, they
And
love
then
that stuff.
Yep. And then this other one in the swamp we were talking about. But yeah. And based off whatever the wind's doing, whether I go this side of the mountain, this side of the mountain, and the closest food or whatever's dropping to that bed, I try to get. I kind of stage it, so I'll stay back, and then like each night just try to work
Yep.
get closer to it, but it's tough because the wind. Oh my God! Don't get me
Yeah.
started on the wind around here.
Yeah, that mountain wind is.
You'll be set up. You're like you'll throw it up. You're like, oh, this is perfect. Going back that way. 5 minutes later, blowing right where you don't want it to blow.
Yep.
So
Yeah, always the wrong time too. It'll be blowing in your face all night, and then
yep. Once it starts getting prime time, it all switches.
yep. And that could be to do with the thermals. I don't know. I'm
trying to figure that out too.
trying to understand those. Me and Jeremy were talking about that, and like it makes sense in my head. It's just one of those things that like
Once you get out there,
I can't
picture.
I don't ever remember it.
Yep.
Um,
I got different pants on. But we were talking about East meets West.
Yep.
Did you hear the one he did the other day about wind and thermals?
Yeah, Mountain
Yeah.
Buck Monday.
Every note he did, I wrote it down on a piece of paper, so I got that with me.
There you go. Yeah, he's got the thermals figured
Yeah.
out. But that's just another piece. Those deer live and die by their nose.
Yep.
And you're not gonna fool it. I don't care. I don't care what you got. Scent lock. I don't. But then look at the flip side of it. Like look at John Eberhart.
I mean, he's
guy's
30,
killed like 700,000 Pope and Young.
he's 30 feet up, so I don't think the wind.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think the wind matters.
Brings 25 sticks with him.
Yeah.
But that he swears by that stuff. Like
Yep.
he has like a system that, you know, he never washes his scent lock and blah blah blah. But then you know you look at infall.
Yeah. And Henry Moncrief.
Yeah,
Yeah, I listened to a couple podcasts of his. He's big into that too. Scent
Yeah.
free. And
yeah,
he's killing giants.
I don't care what season it is.
Yeah.
Squirrel. I just think no matter what, you got to play the wind. Especially like, you know, look at all my camera equipment. You ever gonna get that scent free?
No.
I'm supposed to soak it and send away.
I just bought a new backpack and pulled it out. First thing I did was sniff it. I'm like,
yep.
oh my god, this
You
thing
can't.
reeks.
You can't.
Not that I'm big into the whole
Yeah,
spraying down, but I try to be.
I go as far as putting my stuff in a tote with some
Yeah.
hemlock branches that I dried out.
Yeah, I got a tote in the back of my truck.
I used to buy it. I was
go-
that guy.
I go hard.
Rubber boots.
Yep. I go
You know?
hard, stripping down before I get into my truck for like the first week. Then after that, it gets old.
Yeah.
I start hopping in,
Yep.
not caring. Next thing you know, I'm going to head out into the woods smelling like black ice, air fresheners.
Right. But yeah, I think you'd be hard pressed to beat their nose,
Yep.
especially those old ones. They're just not going to play games.
Nope.
Especially, I mean, not, you know, you might be able to trick one with calls in like the first week of November.
Yeah.
But right now,
Pre-rut.
Right now,
they're
they're
on
not.
full system.
full alert, nighttime scrapes.
Yep. I don't even have any hitting scrapes right now. Like all
either.
summer I have them going to scrapes, community scrapes and whatnot. Right now,
I got more action in April on my community scrapes than I do right now.
You're not kidding. I had my cell cam going off all summer. I'm like, oh, it's on. August, September hits. It's not on.
Well, that freak one, that New Hampshire, that freak one you posted.
Oh, yeah,
it was
he's
like
been-
the 10th.
No, he's been all year. He's been consistent. He's probably on my camera right now. I just haven't. It's not a cell cam, so I haven't checked it.
Oh. Yeah, it didn't say it was like Primos or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, he's gonna kill that deer. It was like 5 o'clock on the 10th.
I think it was the. I think
Or
it was there
11th.
the 11th. So
And then opening day was kind of
15th, and
it
I
was
took
kind
that.
of
I
like
took
a-
that day off, and I had the same exact wind as what he was on, the 11th, but sat there all day. Just when you think you're gonna get him, but he was, they say they shed velvet and then get a brain. On the 11th, he was shedding, so
Yeah,
he got his brain.
man, that was a cool deer.
He's still out there.
Yeah. You haven't checked it since?
No, and I was just in there last night. Like I said, I passed up that little 4-point or whatever it was.
Yep.
Just didn't check the camera.
Yeah. Especially since you only got the one tag
Yeah.
and you paid all that money.
If I had the other tag,
right.
I would have smoked him.
Yeah. Then you tag it with the first tag, so then you got still buck or doe.
Yep.
In case you want to doe. Because I don't think there's any rule behind that. I think you can put whatever tag you want on it.
Yeah,
So if you buy the special deer tag, which is buck only,
Yeah,
and
that one's
you
buck
put
only.
that tag on your first buck, then you still got buck or doe option.
Yep.
And I don't think there's any like rules behind the order you have to tag them in.
Yeah.
I think that's the way they kind of designed it.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But it's cool talking to those old guys, like the heyday when they're like,
Yeah.
like Northern Maine used to be. There used to be no deer in Southern Maine. They were all up north.
Yep.
Obviously, Maine's reason is they've clear cut the state of Maine, and they cut all the deer yards off, and it killed all the deer, but not all of them. But dude, that when I filmed Lee's moose hunt,
Yep.
so I was that was zone 1, way northern Maine, like as far north as you can go. We were there for a week. Well, we were hunting for 5 days. The start of the week
was hot, so we just did morning and evening hunts. But we'd only be back at camp for a couple hours.
Yep.
I saw 2 sets of deer tracks. It was a doe and a fawn, and the fawn. That keep in mind, this is late September, and this is northern Maine, and the fawn track was like the size of a $50. And I told Hal about it back in camp, and he's like, "That fawn ain't gonna make it. It's just it was a late drop."
Yeah.
And
Not up there.
he's like there's not no deer up there. Granted, yeah, it's they're hanging low, but you'd think like we got some rain, and you'd think you'd see at least one buck track. Nothing.
In September? Huh.
That was a fun time. I wish I could have gone with him to Alaska
Yeah.
to film that, but that was a big bull. 214 inch, like 63 inches wide.
Yeah.
Good guy though. Lee's a good guy. He's one of those people that you hang out with him for a week and like you feel like a scumbag because he's just the nicest person in the world.
Oh,
You're like,
no.
I'm a dick sometimes. But yeah, it was funny. He shot his highest score in Maine, bull shot in Maine in 2020, and he's wearing blue jeans. You know. But
Hey, fancy camo don't kill him.
nope. Well, I don't know. You want to do tracking?
Sure.
You kill one tracking?
Shot at him tracking. I'm telling you, I got to work on that shot.
Yeah.
I'd have some nice deer on the wall if I could just shoot them. Like last year. Oh my goodness. Last year I was way off. Like I was late doing everything. Like I hung a camera like 2 weeks before the Massachusetts season.
Yeah.
On a scrape.
For muzzleloader?
Yep.
Jeez.
On a scrape though, so. And I got a couple nice ones on, like, that whole week. A couple nice ones going through. I'm like, oh, it's on. What happened? Hunted it. Oh, first day I had to work. Monday I had to work, so. But my cousin's laid off during that time, so he was up there. Sat all day, didn't see nothing. So I get out of work at 3, I think. I think I was getting out early back last year. But I get out. I'm probably in the woods at 3. So opening day, I walk up through, working my way up. Push a doe. And I didn't know it was buck at the time. I could, how you can smell one in the rut.
Mm-hmm.
So I could smell one, but then I popped up a doe. I'm like, okay, she's the only one I saw. She went left. I did a loop around the right because there's a real small clear cut, and I seen the doe go by, and I'm sitting there, and I see a buck go by right after it, and I tried to stop it. I yelled at it, and then I hit my grunt because it's right on my neck.
Yeah.
And he stopped, but he was just too far. I didn't want to shoot, so he kept going, and he went like 20 yards in front of my cousin where he was sitting. But it was so thick in there, he couldn't get a shot. And then I did another loop around because at the time I didn't know where he was sitting. So I was just after this buck.
Yeah.
I did a loop around, jumped him, and my cousin was right there. I felt so bad, but I mean, oh well. I don't know what buck that was, but anyway, fast forward till we got snow. I'm sitting in bed one night, 7 o'clock. Cell cam goes off, buck right there, fresh snow. Fresh 2 inches of snow.
No, that track is.
Called out of work the next day, went in there, caught that track. He went around this beaver pond, and I kind of got confused because there were so many tracks in there. Finally picked him up. It actually looked like a coyote chased him. So he ran off. So I followed it. Found his first bed, which was old. He already got up and went on his own. So then I followed it some more. Found where he was out feeding around. So I'm just looking around. Nothing good's going on. So I kept following it. And he bedded in the, how usually they say, it goes kind of J's hook and goes back up to bed. He didn't do that. He just bedded right there. So I jumped him out of his bed, not even knowing it. Get up to his bed. I can see where he blew out of there. I'm like, oh, great. Looped around the mountain real slow. Well, I gave him the old half-hour trick, which I've heard time and time again. So I gave him a half hour, kind of made my way to him. I was going real slow. Looped around. And then I'm in a bunch of hemlock. I look around, nothing. I get going. He blows like the deepest blow I've ever heard.
Yeah.
He blows at me and takes off.
From the depths of his soul.
But there's that same beaver swamp
Yep.
that I started in. He was going by it, so I know he couldn't go left. So I was running. I did a huge loop behind or to the right of him. The beaver's swamp is on the left, and he was like running the edge of that swamp. So I did a huge loop as fast as I could around him and got in front of him and sat. And I booked it. And I sat there. There was a ridge behind me. I ended up getting down low because I thought he was still kind of running that edge.
Yep.
Sat there. And guess what? Sat there probably an hour. Get up.
Not long enough.
No. Get up, walk behind me, go up that little bank. His track went right across mine.
Ah.
So he went behind me, and I didn't even know it.
Yep.
So I ended up chasing him again. And I never did see him again that day. But he went into this huge, thick cut. So, like, stuff was, like, as tall as I was, so I could not see. I ended up jumping another buck. Went to shoot at him. Muzzleloader didn't go off. So even if that buck did go by
Have you heard of Woodman Arms?
got the old CVA.
Yeah.
Timmy's going to have to hook me up.
Yeah.
But
Give
no.
him a cracked stock or something, Timmy. Hook this boy up.
Yeah, I'm cheap. I don't care. But yeah, which hindsight, I'm kind of glad. Because if that buck did go by me and I tried to shoot him and my gun didn't go off,
Oh, yeah, it'd been worse.
I would have been livid.
I got not a similar story. I wasn't tracking a buck or anything, but about muzzleloader. So, New Hampshire muzzleloader. So, you loaded at the beginning of the season, and this was before my Woodman. I was using I think it was a CVA. I forget the model. It was like a trophy taker or something. Some old. I bought it off my buddy's dad for like $200.
Yeah.
So, I just drop 2 pellets down it and take the primer in and out. That's how you unload it.
Yep.
So it was like that for the duration of the season. Well, it'd get up to 60 degrees because their muzzleloader season's end of October.
Yep. All that humidity.
Condensation. So the last night I'm walking out of this state park. I'm on this 4-wheeler trail and I'm like, so now it's after legal time. You can still kind of see, but it's after legal time. I'm like, well, I'm going to unload my gun, which is touch it off.
Yeah.
That's how you unload a muzzleloader.
Done that plenty of times.
Yeah. So I pick a tree just because I like to just...
God, now that you got me thinking, I got a lot of bad muzzleloader stories.
just to check accuracy. So I pick a tree, I pick a knot on the tree, and
Yeah.
I pull the trigger. And it sounds like a damn cap gun.
Yep.
And I can see the bullet.
Primer went off, but the...
Well, no, the bullet went out.
It went out?
But at like 40 feet per second. And I heard it hit the tree. Like I threw it. Whack. And it was like this like spiraling blue. It looked like a firework. Like something like a little kid would have, like a glorified sparkler.
Yep.
And it like hit the tree. I heard it hit the tree. And I'm like, because I didn't really know yet why.
Yeah.
So I'm going through my mind like, oh, the breech is primer or whatever. Like, I don't know. And I'm walking out and I'm like, can you imagine if underneath your stand tonight walked, because it'd have been the same result,
Yep.
walked that big 8-point you've had on camera.
Yep.
So yeah,
I got a couple muzzleloader stories.
that Blackhorn is the way to go. 'Cause that stuff doesn't absorb moisture.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Gonna have to get one.
Can't find it though now. Everything else, it's sold out. And
Another year in Vermont. This was even before the gun I was just talking about. I had my old man's. I don't even know what it was. It was, you know how that nowadays they flip open, put the primer in.
Yep.
This was, top primer. You kind of wide
that
open.
gun I was just talking about was too.
Yeah.
So you had to like hold your hand over it if there was any kind of weather.
Yeah.
You had to like
put a
protect it.
plastic bag or something over it.
Yep.
Yeah. It was one of those. But yeah, I was on a buck that day. I jumped it and then I pushed it to my cousin. I'm always pushing deer to my cousin. Swear to God. But
Dude, I got to hunt with your cousin.
where
Where are you going?
You gotta sit where my cousin goes. I'm always pushing deer by him. But yeah, pushed a buck by him. He said it was a pretty nice one. Like he looked at it, like he got to see, pretty nice 8-point. I'm like, why didn't you shoot at it? He's like, it was pretty thick in there. It was getting dark. I'm like, whatever. So that was Saturday, I think. So the next day, do the same thing. Again, I can always smell a buck in the rut. And my cousin.
I haven't smelled that too many times. A couple of times.
I smell it all the time. And
You got the nose for it.
my cousin's always making fun of me for it, but it hasn't failed me yet. So, but yeah, I jumped him up. This was late. I didn't want to push him that day, so I kind of took it easy. And then on my way out, so I'm probably. It's like a small chunk of woods, like 100 yards of woods, before I get to my truck. And I was in a little opening. I'm like, I'm just gonna fire this off because it's been a while,
Yeah.
I'm going to want something fresh. So I fire it off, don't reload it, get walking back to my truck. That buck is right there. Right there, halfway to my truck. I'm like, only my luck could that happen. And then last year again.
Yeah, but you might have been too close anyway to like want to shoot.
True. Well, no. I mean, there's a pretty good bank right there. But and then last year in muzzleloader in Massachusetts, I don't know what day it was, but it was wicked wet, miserable. Snow on the ground, but it was raining.
Mm-hmm.
Miserable. But I was sitting. I sat for like the first hour and a half, but I was getting soaked.
Was the snow like melting away completely?
Yeah.
So you couldn't even
go look for a
why
track.
bother start tracking if you're just gonna lose it anyway?
Yeah, I would just kind of get moving to
Yep.
not be so miserable. So I get going. My cousin is like telling you. My cousin, I tell you, he was like, I don't know, probably 200 yards away from me to the left. I got up and went straight behind me because there was a big cut back there. Figure something, once it stopped raining or something might come out to start eating. So I get going back there, and then next thing you know, all I hear is and immediately my cousin sends me a text. Cousin, I just shot at a huge one. So I get running back again. I see this thing in the trail. I pull up, shoot at it like as fast as I could. I didn't hit the thing. So I'm like, oh, whatever. I go back to him. I'm like, oh, I hope you hit it because I didn't see nothing where I was. Get going back to where he was. The deer was only like 20 yards from him, and he hit this hemlock tree that was like 13 inches around, dead center. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I swear we got the worst luck. I don't even know what that buck was. We had a couple good ones in there, but I'm not sure what that one was. I seen bone. I seen a face looking at me. I'm like, I gotta shoot now.
Yep. Before he boogers.
But I gotta get some shooting lessons from them big woods guys.
Yeah, yeah. Shoot a lot. It's kind of like your bow, you know.
Yeah.
It's just the thing about it is it's harder to do. You know, you can shoot your bow
Oh yeah.
where most people live. You
I'll
can
shoot a
in
bow
your-
at like 65 yards, no problem.
but you can shoot it like everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, gun is like you have to be certain places because it's loud as shit and people don't like it. So you know, it's just harder. Some people have the like talk about the big woods guys, like those guys who live in northern Maine.
Yep.
Every one of them's got a shooting range in your backyard, so
Yep.
that's no problem. But yeah, you live down around here, it's you got to go to certain places, and there's not a lot around.
Nope.
But all right, well, we'll wrap it up.
Oh sure.
Hopefully by this time this one comes out, one of us got a deer down.
I hope so.
I want to do this year. People I know that shoot deer do like a podcast right after and
Yeah. Get a fresh story or
talk
something.
about it and just release it.
Yeah.
Like immediately.
Yep.
You know, not wait the 2 weeks or whatever. Just throw it out on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Whatever. So hopefully we get something turns around.
Hopefully.
Your cameras are doing good.
I got
Mine
high.
aren't.
I got high hopes in that Vermont spot. So we'll see October
Yeah,
1st.
it's a week from tomorrow.
Yep. Or today. Today. It's open on a Friday this year.
Yeah. That's right. My sister's getting married
Don't you hate that?
on Friday at like in the middle of the day. But whatever. Still early season.
Yeah.
If it was November 1st, hey, we got to talk.
I came down with something.
Yeah.
Got a little buck fever.
Amy will be there to photograph it. Don't you worry. She can also run a video camera. Just send her there with a backpack full of camera gear.
Yep.
There you go. All right, dude. We'll talk to you.
Oh, sure.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. Make sure and come back and join us every other Monday with a brand new episode. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure and leave a review. And you can find me on YouTube at Northeast Hunt and Film. Once again, thanks for listening.